Hello, everyone.
Our goal is to break the power of the mob in America and nothing short of it. We mean to end their profits, imprison their members, and cripple their organization.
So, everyone, today's fashion 100% Egyptian cotton mercerized shirt, tassel elbow by Macy's, some Levi's jeans, and my tie is Isaac Mizrahi.
Cripple their organization. Imprison their members.
Quick corner here. I might have to retie this. I like a cleft in my tie. This doesn't really have a cleft. No cleft, I'll redo it. I like a big cleft in my tie. I'm very specific about my ties, as should you be.
Break the power of the mob. Our goal is to break the power of the mob in America and nothing short of it. We mean to end their profits, imprison their members,
There we go.
and
There's the
cripple their
cleft.
organization.
Make this a little tighter.
Imprison their members and cripple their organization. Cripple their organization.
My legs just went up.
Imprison their members. Our goal
It's to break the power of the mob in America and nothing
break
short
the
of it.
power of the mob.
Hello, hello, hello. What is up, world? It is your boy, the Blue Blazer. I am back. And today we are going to be in our first episode of Financial Fridays with Alonzo Hall of ADH Wealth Solutions. So what we're going to do today, it may actually be dually done. And the reason being is because today is going to be very short because it is the first episode. But what I want to do is I want to speak about the quickest way to become a millionaire. And there are a few other financial professionals, such as myself, who agree that indexed funds are the fastest way to becoming a millionaire. So how do we do that? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with us a video from a few investment advisors. One is a gentleman by the name of Grant Stephan, and one is a man who may be here in the Black manosphere by a name of Richard Fame. And this is a gentleman whom I follow. And a lot of gentlemen in the financial space will tell you that the quickest and easiest way to becoming a millionaire is indexed funds. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at that together. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we can go ahead and check out these index funds.
We're the Kellys.
Sleeping.
Our dream is to protect our baby's future.
When it comes to parenting, the unknowns keep us up. Yes, I know that you know what I'm already talking about here based on the title of the video. What's up, you guys? It's Graham here. So let's cover one of my favorite ways to invest ever besides real estate. And I would even go so far as to say that this is the best, safest, and easiest long-term investment strategy out there for most people. And also, this is the investment strategy that requires very little work, no skill needed, and still has some of the best returns out there. And even more surprising, what if I told you that this investment outperformed 99% of individual investors and almost 95% of hedge funds? And this is something you can do with about 20 minutes of your time. And yes, I know that you know what I'm already talking about here based on the title of the video, but let's drum up a little bit of suspense because I'm talking about Vanguard index funds. So let's go over exactly what an index fund is, how it works, and how you can set this up yourself in a matter of minutes.
Really quick. So he's talking about Vanguard index funds, which is a specific investment portfolio. You can get an index fund from many places. Vanguard is a very, very, very safe place to go get your indexed fund. Another place that you can go get your indexed funds are obviously places like Fidelity, Charles Schwab, places like that. But one of the things he did mention was index funds, and you can make millions with 20 minutes a day in an indexed fund. What he didn't mention is that index funds are something that may also be attached to what's going on. She may also be attached to things like your life insurance. So let's again read his thing. Says how to become a millionaire. Index fund investing for beginners.
To profit long term and maybe one day get like Lambo rich or like yacht rich or buy private islands or whatever you want. Anyway, index funds. But really quick, I do just want to mention that this video is not sponsored by Vanguard. I had no financial incentive if you use them or not. I don't have any affiliate links to Vanguard if you buy their funds or if you don't decide to buy their funds. I have no financial affiliation with Vanguard whatsoever. I just happen to think this is a great topic.
So the positivity about him having no affiliation is something that you as an investor should definitely be concerned with. Most people, when they have, an affiliate link or they're sponsored by, actually, you'll see some of my videos. There's actually a company called Ariel Investments, and they sent me a t-shirt with their information. Why? Because they want me to send them business. So they send me swag. In fact, give me 1 second. I'm going to show you something. So again, one question I get often from people is, what company do you represent? Well, I am an independent broker. And as an independent broker, I get to show you, salute Sir Anthony, I get to work with you on your best interests. So when, for example, a company like Securian Financial sends me this swag bag of, what is this? Oh, this is Band-Aids and alcohol pads. They send your financial advisors random swag that often we don't show you to make us incentivized to bring your business to them. So make sure that if you are dealing with a financial professional, they're either going to be very upfront and let you know they're captive and they only work for this company, or like myself, they're a broker and they work for a multitude of companies. Now, just like myself as a broker, most brokers are going to have a favorite company. I have a couple of favorite companies depending on the state that you're in, but we'll get to that later.
Topic to talk about. I truly believe in this strategy long term. I do it myself. And also I have a lot of data and research that backs up everything that I talk about. So all I ask in return is if you guys enjoy videos and topics like this, to go ahead and gently tap that like button. It helps out the channel tremendously if you do that. So it just takes one fraction of a second to go ahead and do that. That's it, and enjoy the video. So first of all, let's start here. What exactly is an index fund? An index fund is really just a group of investments that you could put your money into, and then you own a percentage of the entire thing. Here's an example. Imagine if I own 1,000 apartment buildings and they're each worth $1,000. I go to you and I say, I will sell you one of my buildings for $1,000. That would almost be like the equivalent of you going and buying one stock of one individual company. But the problem here is that now you only have one apartment building or one investment. And what happens if that investment doesn't do very well? Or maybe that one company you invested in has a CEO who loves to talk on Twitter and he ends up saying some stupid stuff that gets him in trouble with the SEC, and that company doesn't do very well in the short term. How do you prevent something like this?
Tesla.
Well, here's the solution to this. Imagine in my previous example
that was
where
a year
I gave you
ago.
a scenario where instead of investing $1,000 and you buy one of my 1,000 apartment buildings, imagine if you could invest $1,000 and then you get 0.1% of everything that I own. So you're a small percentage owner in all of my apartment buildings. This way you get an averaged return based off everything that I own. This is basically an index fund. For example, you can own all of the top 500 publicly traded companies here in the United States for the low price of just about $260. This way, you're not just buying one stock in one company, but instead you're buying literally all of them. And also with index funds, you could do this with pretty much any market out there. If you want to own a small portion of pretty much every single international stock out there, well, you can do that for the low price of just $28. Or you can own a small portion of the entire US stock market for the low price of just $70. And it doesn't stop there, because there are index funds for pretty much any single market out there. Like, you want to invest in bonds? Well, here you go. Or if you want to buy a whole bunch of real estate, but you don't want to get just one REIT, well, VNQ offers all of this with a whole bunch of office buildings and hotels. Your money ends up going a very long way when you start doing this. But that then lends the question, why exactly does this make such a good investment? And also, why haven't you already smashed that like button if you didn't do that earlier? All right, so let's start here. The biggest advantage with index...
So I do have to stop this, and I'm going to speak like him. Make sure that you smash that like button when you enter. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I am going to open the floor in a little while after this video for some Q&A. Like I said, today is going to be very short because this was just the initial idea. But I am intending to do Financial Fridays, generally at 8 p.m. every Friday. And I think it's something that this space can use. There are a lot of gentlemen doing so, but I want to make sure that we have some gentlemen who continue to do so. So this is one of the index fund people that I watch, but I want you to see a gentleman who we may be familiar with, who looks like a lot of the people in our space. And this is Richard Fain. And if you're not following him, maybe you should. It's another Black man who talks about finances. And
hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to my channel. And while you're at it, smash that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. I've gotten tons of questions about index funds. So I thought, why not make a video today discussing how to invest in index funds. An index fund is an investment that tracks a market index, typically made up of stocks and bonds. There is a three-step process to investing in index funds. The first step is pick the index you want to track. The second step is choose the index fund to track that index. And then the third step is to buy shares in that index fund. There are hundreds of different indexes you can track using index funds. One of the most popular indexes is the S&P 500, which is made up of the top 500 stock companies in the United States. Other popular indexes include the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the NASDAQ, the Russell 2000,
Chicago Stock Exchange,
and the S&P Small Cap 600. Once you have chosen an index, you usually can find at least one index fund that tracks that index. For popular indexes like the S&P 500, there can be at least a dozen index funds that track that particular index.
So the reason I showed a lot of this index fund stuff is because index funds, yes, they've been around for a while. And again, a person from this space, the Green Gorilla, posted a video showing equities and shares of mutual funds and equities over the last quarter of the last 30 years, from 1990 to 2020. And he did it in increments of 5 years. And in the Black community, myself being a financial professional, I always hear a bunch of Black folks saying, I've already got investments, I've already got insurance, I got it taken care of, I do it myself. But the statistics show that from quarter four 1990 until quarter four 2020, 30 years, and quarter four 2020 just passed a week ago, the stake or percentage of ownership of equities and index funds and mutual fund shares has been 1% over the last 30 years. So some of you niggas is straight out lying. Actually, most of you niggas is straight out lying. And what we need to do is we need to build our financial households. So everybody, I'm showing you index funds because the next step I'm going to say is this index fund sounds really, really incredible and great. And there's a gentleman here who endorses me a lot, who says, wow, well, I have index universal life insurance. So that's all the bang, plus a safety net for God forbid you die. You see, with us owning 1% of the mutual funds and equities, we haven't understood how this financial world works. I'll give you an example. The average income in America of white males is what? 52K. So let's say 50,000 is the average household income in America. You want to replace $50,000 a year for 20 years. What do? You buy $1 million of life insurance. And when that $1 million is $50,000 a year for 20 years. FYI, Black man, if you've been in the workforce for at least 10 years, you've likely already made $250,000. $250,000 to $1 million has passed through your fingers without you even noticing. If you've been in the workforce for at least 10 years, making $25,000 a year, you've made $250,000 already. So things are all relative. You see, what we've been taught is $1 million is a lot of money because we've never held $1 million at once, right? This seems like a lot of water if I drink it all at once. But if I pour it into an 8-ounce glass and drink it throughout the day, it's really not that much water. It's 1 liter, right? So yeah, to just look at it right there, man, can I swallow this whole bottle of water? No. But if I put it in an 8-ounce glass at a time, guess what? I drank the whole bottle. So that indexed universal life insurance. Life insurance is something that is a life insurance company pays dividends consistently. Life insurance companies are the eldest companies in the world. They've been around almost since the 1700s. And they've been paying dividends every year consistently. Yet our community shuns life insurance because we think of it as death insurance. Yet we'll really go get car insurance ASAP. If you knew what car insurance was, which is car accident insurance, right? We don't call it car accident insurance, but car insurance doesn't kick in until you get into a car accident. Well, life insurance is very different. Life insurance kicks in if you have a life event. Let's say your child is a newborn, 15 days old, and you get them an indexed universal life insurance policy, which you can't get for them a Vanguard account because they're not of age. You can get a custodial account, but it doesn't grow at the same percentages. There's something called a custodial account in investing. Okay, so now let's take that indexed account or that indexed universal life insurance that's going to grow at a compound interest rate of around 6%. So every month it's growing on top of each other. Child turns 15, 16, 17, 18, ready for college. You didn't save up money for them to go to college. You didn't put money in the bank, but you put it in this life insurance policy that grows 6 times faster than the bank account. And now they're 18, and now there's, I don't know, $15,000, $20,000 there for that kid to take out and actually go to college with. So he's actually funding his college through life insurance because it's insuring life events. It's not insuring death. That would be death insurance, which we're taught of the death benefit and the check. But nobody teaches us about life insurance. So through these next few series, we will be going through the benefits and some of the bells and whistles that you can get with a life insurance policy.
If you have more than one index fund for a chosen index, you'll have to ask some basic questions. The first question you want to ask is, which index fund most closely tracks the performance of that given index? Second, which...
Now, when you're talking about a life insurance company, let's look at this also. Your most recent investment companies. Let's take a look at Edward Jones Financial or Raymond James. Well, I don't know. They change their name every 3 months. I think it's Edward Jones right now. And it used to be Raymond James, and it was Raymond Jones, and it was Edward James, and it's Edward Jones. Anyway, let's use John Hancock. Very well-known financial company. Let's use Fidelity, because everybody knows Fidelity. They pay dividends. They may have been paying dividends for the last 17 years. Life insurance company, let's use New York Life, because that's actually a company I don't do business for. So let's use them. New York Life has been around. Now, they did own slaves, yes, but New York Life has been around since the early, maybe mid-1700s. Do you know they've been paying dividends every year since 1776? So 1776, 77. Oh, you mean when we went through the Great Depression in the 1930s? Oh, yeah, the life insurance companies were still paying dividends. They were still profitable. Oh, wait, you mean in 2008 when everything crashed? Oh, yeah, the life insurance companies were still paying dividends because they were you mean, wait, this most recent recession? Yeah, the life insurance companies were still paying dividends. So why wouldn't you go with the most absolutely secure thing possible? Because you've not been taught to. And that's what we're going to address today and in the near future going forward.
Which index fund has the lowest cost? Third, are there any restrictions or limitations on that index fund that prevents you from investing in it? To buy shares of an index fund, you can typically go directly to the index fund company. Alternatively, you can open a brokerage account with a broker who will allow you to buy and sell index funds that you want to invest in. In deciding which index fund is best for you, it pays to look at the cost and features of each index fund. Some brokers do charge their customers to buy index funds. And in that case, it probably would be cheaper for you to go directly to the index fund company to buy your index funds. Investing in index funds is one of the easiest and most effective ways for an investor to build wealth. By simply matching the performance of the financial markets over time, index funds can turn your investment into a huge nest egg in the long run. And
So index funds, ETFs, mutual funds, equities. This is not the stock market. And if you'll notice, nothing mentioned was the stock market. Right? They're indexes. So you're following the entirety of the stock market. But it's a lot safer. It's a lot less risky. See, right now, everybody's getting a hard on over Tesla. And you saw a year ago, the white guy that I just showed was like, yeah, you know, when your CEO goes on Twitter and does too much, but everybody's got a hard dick for Tesla right now. Guess what Tesla's trying to do? Tesla's trying to be involved in the S&P 500. Guess where your index universal life insurance policy, regardless of which company, has been tied to the S&P 500 for over 200 years. And has been paying consistent dividends. Yeah, your indexed universal life insurance. So while you're paying your life insurance premiums, you're building money just like the stock market. See, what I'm going to tell you is something that most financial professionals don't want you to know. But an indexed universal life insurance is almost like having all the upside of the stock market and none of the downside. Plus, you get the protection of an actual death benefit. Now, it's a little bit different if you get a variable universal life insurance. But if you get a indexed universal life policy, because it's indexed and it's tied to the S&P 500, and it's a life insurance policy. So life insurance policies outside of variable are what's called fixed, right? Believe it or not, it is an investment. And I get tired of people saying, I want to invest, and then you don't invest in the only thing that makes the most sense, yourself. So when I hear people say they're worth more dead than they're alive, I understand they don't understand money. Let me explain to you why no person is ever worth more dead than they are alive. Because dead, let's say you have $1 billion worth of life insurance on you, and you make $1 a year, and you die. You would think you'd be worth more dead than alive, because you die and somebody would get $1 billion. But your worth is not what you're earning. Your worth comes from your ability to earn an income. I'll give you an example. LeBron James, straight out of high school, wasn't making no money, but he had the ability to earn an income. Now, his ability fluctuates, right, depending on how good he is in the league. Or let's look at someone who's going through contract negotiations right now, Dak Prescott. Well, he probably has a couple of $1 million worth of life insurance. So he'd be like, well, technically, I'm out of work right now because the Dallas Cowboys haven't signed my contract, so I'm worth more dead than alive. But that's untrue, because tomorrow, Uncle Jerry could sign that $38 million. Then he's worth more alive than dead. So again, it really is important that you're calculated in your linguistics. We're going to continue this. I'm going to continue stopping and explaining things in between.
One of the advantages of buying index funds is you don't have to become an expert in the stock market to do it. Here are some advantages of investing in index funds. First advantage is you minimize your time spent picking individual stocks. You invest with less risk. Most index funds are going to have a dozen to hundreds of different stocks inside of that index fund, which in turn will diversify your investment. Index funds are far less costly than alternatives like actively managed funds. That's because an index fund manager just has to buy stocks or other investments in the index. You don't have to pay them to come up with stock picks on their own. Typically with index funds, you will pay less in taxes. And one of the reasons is because the fund manager is not actively buying and selling stocks, which in turn reduce capital gains, and you pay less in taxes. Some of the disadvantages to buying index funds is you will never beat the market. Typically with an index fund, their whole goal is to
Mirror the market,
whatever index they're tracking.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you buy an index fund that's tracking the S&P 500 and the S&P 500 returns a 15% return, then the index fund tracking that S&P is going to return 15% return or slightly less. So if the market does 30% that year and the S&P does 15, then your index fund is going to mirror that S&P. Therefore, you're not going to beat the market. Typically, you don't have any loss protection with index funds. Index funds track their index in good and bad times. And the other disadvantage is with an index fund, you don't have any control over what stocks are picked. The index fund manager makes that choice, and that's based on the index that the index fund is tracking.
So a lot of you already have index funds and things. When you have apps like Acorn, Stash, what's the other one, Mint, all these apps are basically ETFs or index funds. ETFs is another. It's technically another product. but it's in the same vein as an index fund. So you're very familiar with these already as you're using a lot of these apps. Okay. What is the other one? Webull, all that. All those is because most people are not an accredited investor. So most people are unable to even get into that realm. Now, what I want to do is because I think it's important for people to know what is an accredited investor. And the reason I think that's important to know is because if you don't know what that is, I'm going to do it here on Investopedia. I'm just going to read to you what an accredited investor is. And the reason, oh shit, hold on. And I think the reason you need to know what an accredited investor is because right now, a lot of people think they're investing and they're not. And, you know, you think you're dunking on LeBron and you're only dunking on your Nerf set. So real brief, what is an accredited investor? An accredited investor is an individual or business entity that is allowed to trade securities that may not be registered with the financial authorities. They are entitled to this privileged access by satisfying at least one requirement regarding their income, net worth, asset size, governance status, or professional experience. In the U.S., the term accredited investor is used by the SEC under Regulation D to refer to investors who are financially sophisticated and have a reduced need for the protection provided by regulatory disclosure filings. Accredited investors include natural high net worth individuals, or HNWIs, banks, insurance companies, brokers, and trusts. So, accredited investors are legally authorized to purchase securities. I'm gonna read what the accredited investor tests are. So requirements for accredited investors. The regulations for accredited investors vary from one jurisdiction to the other and are often defined by a local market regulator or a competent authority. In the United States of America, the definition of an accredited investor is put forth by the Securities Exchange Commission in Rule 501 of Regulation D. And this is as of October 2020. To be an accredited investor, a person must have an annual income exceeding $200,000 or $300,000 for joint income. Meaning, if you're married, you need to have made $200,000. Single, you need to make $200,000 and married $300,000 for the last 2 years and expected to earn at least the same or a higher income in the current year. So you have to have at least 3 out of the last 5 years made $200,000 a year or $300,000 if you're married. Okay. The income test cannot be satisfied by showing 1 year of an individual's income and then the next 2 years of joint income with the spouse. So, for example, last year I told you I did 115. So let's say, well, actually, at the end of it, it came down to about 87.5, but that's neither here nor there. So if I then get married this year, I'm already married. We're well over clearing 100K, but we're not clearing 300K. But let's say I add myself and my wife's income, and I say, well, hey, I made 115 last year. And, this year, me and her 150 together, well, we're at 300. Well, that doesn't work. Okay. Now, a person is also considered an accredited investor if they have a net worth exceeding $1 million, either individual or jointly with their spouse. The SEC also considers a person to be an accredited investor if they are a general partner, executive officer, or a director of the company that is issuing the unregistered securities. Now, an entity is considered an accredited investor if it is a private business development company or an organization with assets exceeding $5 million. However, the organization cannot be formed with the sole purpose of purchasing specific securities. Also, August 26, 2020, SEC changed the definition of accredited investor to include licensed financial professionals. Also, if you own real estate, that is not helping you to become an accredited investor, unfortunately. Now, what I want to do real quick is I want to play a song for y'all, which was something that I listened to in high school. This is my high school exit song, and I think it makes a lot of sense to listen to right quick. Give me 1 second.
Yo. It
will.
Rough Riders.
Straight like that. You a killer, hustler, dealer, customer, gangster, buster, youngster, old nigga, a weed-headed coke sniffer. You rich or broke, nigga. Know you all relate to this shit that I wrote, niggas. Then my man's trapped up in a max penitentiary, sending me letters I answer back. That eventually we be all Bentley'd out. Fucking, I'm running for White House. Control Senate, pipe seats, Jeeps tinted. Angry man should be here listening to this. Did dirt, so I knew it would come back one day. So I'm on point, strapped, prepared for gunplay. Instead of one face, thought it was beef. You look familiar, ready to blast. Nigga gave me dap, said I feel you. Can't believe how my life changed. From the hood, the first time in my life, I could say I did the right thing. Life is what you make it, brother. I'ma make it. No matter what it takes, man, we gonna take it. Life is what you make it. I just want to play for this verse by DMX. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Listen. Everyday shit, runaway shit. Got me stressed, so I keep on investing in case a nigga wanna test. I got no time for games cause I'm all grown up. You wanna joke, nigga, laugh when you get blown up. And see how funny it is when your kids ain't got no father cause you played it sweet. Now you floating in the harbor. Shit is hectic, so respect it for your health. You didn't think it was right? You should have checked it yourself. Life is too short to get caught up in some dumb shit. Wake up one day, 40 years old, on some bum shit. Time flew by. You was too fly to see the light. Every day is getting darker, then comes the night. Now what? Realize that you ain't got shit. Not long ago, you was the man on some hot shit. So just peep the flow, yo, cause you already in this. Make sure your shit is right, kid, and handle your business. All right? So, gentlemen, I wanted to just say that part of handling your business is learning things like this. Sit with your current financial professional if you have one. So things that you need to do is realize that you do have a team of financial professionals. When you sit and you have an accountant, your accountant needs to know your car insurance agent, your life insurance agent, your investment advisor, and your attorney. These are 5 people who you need to have. And your car insurance agent probably needs to be separate from your life insurance agent. I used to own an Allstate in 2015 in East New York, Brooklyn. It failed. I had to close my doors. Pennsylvania Avenue, ironically enough, the same block where I was about to buy an $800,000 house. See, I don't talk that money shit, but a nigga got bread. Y'all don't see that. Why? Because I don't cut my hair and all that shit. You know why? Because I've learned that the brokest people have issue. See, I when I deal with people in my community, I don't cut my hair, I grow my beard. Guess what? Oh man, I don't know if I could. But if my name was Hiram Abiff, if my name was something, along those lines, and I had the curly cues and the dark suit and the shirt with tassels, well, nobody has a problem with my beard or unkempt hair. See, I work with a bunch of Jewish people in New York. And guess what they always tell me? Man, you're not like those other guys. That's how I know that Jewish men get married through a prenuptial agreement, but not the prenuptial agreement that we have in America. Why? Because I've learned from working with these men. That's why you get that cockiness, right? But the first steps to becoming a millionaire are to make that decision that you're going to be one. That's really the first step to becoming a millionaire. You're going to decide, you know what? I can become a millionaire. Second way to become a millionaire is to focus. Realize that you're already a millionaire. If you've worked for 20 years in America, making at least $50,000, you've had $1 million go through your hands. So $1 million is not as much as you think it is, especially in today's society. You need to make sure that you prepare for inflation, okay? So when you're looking out for inflation, what does that mean? Well, let's take a look at it. The easiest way to becoming a millionaire is not the stock market, because the stock market is for people who are already millionaires. The stock market is to be played for what's called preservation of capital. So how does that work? Well, that works like this. Warren Buffett takes $100,000 and puts it in the stock market today and leaves it there until 2030. Why? Because he understands that the stock market's going to be volatile, go up and down. He doesn't care. He just wants that 100,000 to remain 100,000. Because the average rate of return on an investment over 20 years is 10%. So that 100,000 might get him $10,000 over the course of 20 years. But his goal is not for that 100,000 to really make him money. It's for that 100,000 to remain 100,000. Because if you look at what's called inflation, and inflation has been happening every year again since the day everyone here was born. Every year, 3% inflation. Or have you not noticed, they play with the cost of petrol or gas. How much is gas now? $18 a barrel? Wasn't it like $180 a barrel while Bush 2 was in office? You see, so there are some slight differences and some slight changes that are being made that kind of remove our protections. So I want to finish this gentleman's video because I think he's another financial professional that I follow, and especially as a Black financial professional, I find it very important. Actually, while I'm at it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a video of mine. And it's not anything with having to do with the index funds at the moment. What I want to show you is something from the Conference of African American Financial Professionals. Okay. Let's see if I can pull that up for us. Okay, so this was me, August 4th, 2020, at the Digital Conference of African American Financial Professionals. Because COVID, we couldn't physically go there. This year, it's going to be, ironically enough, in Georgia. So my Georgia folks, you might see me there this August.
Hot water. 7 years, 5 times almost lost my house. I did lose 2 cars in the process. A couple times I had my water, electricity cut off in the house. 7 years. But the Bible says it came to pass not, it came to stay, and there I am with W. Clement Stone. And he told me, he says, young man, when you finish this book, you're going to be in demand as a speaker. I said, man, who in the world's going to come hear me speak? He said, no, I'm telling you, you're going to be in demand as a speaker. And you're going to have an opportunity to really make a living as a public speaker. And I didn't pay any attention to that. And he said, just do me one big favor. And I said, sure. Mr. Stone, what is it? He says, if you can save 10% of everything that you earn, the seeds of greatness are not in you. Make thy money grow. Well, there you are right there. And I want to come down and close this out. You know, I've had an opportunity to interview so many people, and I wrote a book. My 4th book is called What Keeps Me Standing. And in this book, for a 5-year period, I went around the country and I asked 1,000 Black grandmothers. I could have focused on any demographic, but these were the individuals who were nearest and dearest to me at the time. I asked these 1,000 Black grandmothers, I said, if you could write one letter to your children or to the next generation, what would you tell me about life? And I know what you're thinking, financial advisors. What in the world is...
Okay. I just wanted to share that brief video because that was a gentleman who was at the Conference of African American Financial Professionals. So again, when we have someone like a green gorilla who then teaches us about how the equities have been over the course of the last 30 years, Q4. And then you have financial professionals at the Conference of African American Financial Professionals who explain to us that only 5% of the licensed individuals in this industry are Black. And then you go through things like Facebook and Instagram and you see all these non-licensed individuals, so no repercussions if they screw up your money. But I see people running, flocking to them, giving them money. And then they'll come to, oh, well, I'll see how your little insurance works. My little insurance don't work unless you want it to work. The way my little insurance works is tell it what you want it to do, and we can make it happen. See, what a lot of people do is they price shop. Well, $1 million worth of life insurance. You can't price shop like that. If you price shop like that, you wouldn't, for example, let's say you're into Mercedes-Benzes. You wouldn't go to the Mercedes-Benz dealership and say, I got $39,000. Give me an S550. They'd say, sir, you can't get an S series, an S class for that much. Well, it's a Mercedes-Benz. What the hell? They're all Mercedes. They have the same logo, isn't it? It's a Mercedes-Benz. That's what you sound like when you're saying, well, it's life insurance. There's different types of policies. There's a term life insurance, which is like you renting the house, but you don't get anything from it. There's also a term life insurance where at the end of the term, they give you all your money back. There's a permanent or a whole life insurance that builds cash value. Then there's a universal life insurance that builds cash value faster and has a flexible premium so you can put more money into it or put less money into it. Then there's an indexed universal life insurance that mirrors the S&P 500 and grows at a monthly compound interest rate of 6.4%, and you can fluctuate, but it's still a fixed product. Then there's a variable life insurance, which means that when you put your money in there, it's all volatile, so you can lose your death benefit and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the panel. Anybody want to come up? We have my brother Sheed. What's going on, brother? How are you?
What's going on, man?
Doing well. You have any questions, concerns, comments, or something I can maybe point you in the right direction about?
No, I'm just want to say, man, this great information. I got my wife here with me. She actually got a policy just like mine with the index as well. And we both actually got that. And like I said, it's things that a lot of guys talk about, but to actually, hear you talking about this and seeing that I actually took the first step in doing things in the right direction, man, it's just a blessing, man. Just, to hear everything that you're talking about and just, getting more information about my policy and, kind of looking at changing things. Like I said, I'm going to try to get in contact with you once I get more things situated to go over my policy and see what I'm dealing with.
Definitely. I do free policy reviews as well. Generally, I like to work with people who already have a policy, such as yourself, because it makes the entire process a lot easier. A lot of the line of questioning that I'm going to have for you, most people, when I sit down with them, they're like, well, what does all this have to do with life insurance? Because I'm going to ask you how much you pay for rent, how much you make, how much you spend on cigarettes, your bad habits, your good habits.
Yeah.
And that's because my job is to help identify and protect your lifestyle. So you go to work every day because you have a lifestyle. But then when you sit with a financial professional, oh, I just need life insurance. If I die, people can bury me. No. Two things happen when a person dies, and we don't think about it. One, their presence goes away. But two, their income goes away. So God forbid, I died last night. Well, that 87.5 that I hope to again make this year is gone. So how does my wife recoup that money? Well, if I have a $50,000 life insurance policy, she can bury me, but it's not quite protecting the lifestyle that we've built. As you can see, if anybody looks at my Facebook page, there's a certain type of lifestyle that my wife and I have become accustomed to. And I'll be totally honest, as a man, personally, I don't think I'm cutting the mustard. So I got to step it up because actually I know I'm not cutting the mustard. So I'm going to step up my game. Y'all going to see a huge step up this year coming out of the Blue Blazer, AKA Alonzo Hall of ADH Wealth Solutions. But But yeah, so what I would recommend with you and your wife, depending on how long ago you got the policies, is to do a policy review. Again, I will gladly do those for you. Or if you want to, if you have that comfort with your original financial professional, beautiful. But you do want to do a review at least once every 2 years. And this is for everyone. So when it comes to building your net worth or building your wealth, life insurance also actually adds to your net worth. So, when people say they want to be a millionaire, I can make you a millionaire in the matter of 2 hours. Fill out an application for life insurance, get approved. If it's over $1 million that you've been approved for life insurance, your net worth has immediately been increased to $1 million. Obviously minus any liabilities, but that's the easiest way to actually become a millionaire, is to buy a life insurance policy. Then your net worth is that. That's why I sell mortgage protection life insurance. When somebody comes and buys a mortgage from me, or not a mortgage, but buys a house, I tend to tell them, listen, you're buying a house for $500,000. You end up paying $1 million anyway over the course of that 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Why don't you get a $2 million life insurance policy so that your assets outweigh your liabilities? Now, God forbid you die. Well, that $2 million is going to go right to your family. Your family's going to pay off the house. But they still have property taxes they have to pay. So that rest of that money can go to them paying property taxes. I think what I'll do is on one of these Financial Fridays, I have a friend who actually is going through the probate system now because a family member of his died, left houses in multiple states, but unfortunately they died intestate, meaning without a will. Meaning, again, and this happens all too often in the Black community, I'm going to leave my family a house, and then you die. So you either left your family a house with a mortgage, and if they're struggling to pay $800 a month in rent, how do you think they can pay $1,500 a month on a mortgage? Right? Then there's also property taxes if the house is paid off free and clear, which usually it's not, because most Black Americans, unfortunately, get that black ink, blue ink. Like I said earlier, if you're going to fill out an application for a loan of any sort, bring your own pen and make sure it's in blue ink. And this is including with Black financial professionals. Okay. And now, Sir Anthony said one thing that I see funny. People on Facebook selling credit repair and seasons. I will say some of that credit repair does work. It's expensive. And I'll be honest, if you want to do the credit repair yourself for free, it's more time consuming, but you can. There's another person whom I'm not affiliated with, which is Q Butter from Zyx. That's a person from the Black First space. And he has Project Flip, Financial Literacy Improvement Program, for the people who look like us. And he has all of the credit repair letters that all of your friends in FES, Financial Education Services, or credit repair, because they actually don't do the credit repair themselves. They connect you with a company called United Credit Education Services, and they take care of your credit. I also, ironically enough, can do it myself because in 2011, I worked for a company, you've probably heard of it, National Debt Relief. And I was with them when they made their first $50 million month. And this was where our office was on 11 Broadway, across from the Brass Bowl. So when I talk about things, I talk about them cockily because I have the experience. I know a lot of people who have been in this industry for many years longer than me. I'll give you an example. When I managed my team of real estate agents with Gold Rock Realty in 2018, I was the newest licensed agent. I only had my license in 2017. But because of the work I did, and because I'm a man of action, so I go ahead and I put my my head down and I go, CMOS. Yeah, I do see a lot of people selling CMOS. I got a homeboy who sells CMOS. And one thing he did, he asked some people, what are the 92 minerals that are in CMOS? People were humming. He said, I think that's something that we should know, because if our customer asks us and we're selling the CMOS, we should know what minerals there are. But National Debt Relief is a great company, and I speak this way because I've had this experience. So when I managed my team of real estate agents, my partner, Mr. Robinson, has had his real estate license for 25 years. He's a man in his late 50s. And he said to me, Alonzo, I've learned so much from working with you because I didn't know any of this stuff. And I've been doing real estate for almost as long as you've been alive. So, yes, I am very cocky when I talk. And there's a reason for it. Because I get results for you. Okay? So, if you're looking for results, come over this way. My website, actually, I'll put my company's website. I got absorbed. Financial. But that's my company, CG Wealth Solutions, LLC. When you sit with me, it's ADH Wealth Solutions. I'm affiliate with CG Wealth Solutions. And we have investment advisors and all of the sort. So I'm coming up on an hour. I'm going to get ready to wind this down and take it off. She, do you have any parting words?
Oh man, like I said, great information, man. Like I said, for the people that listen on the playback, hey, get your finances together.
Thank you. So definitely, everyone, this is the first of many Financial Fridays. If you missed the beginning, I was breaking down, the clothing that I wear. So like I was saying, Michael Kors is the watch. What's the blazer? Today's blazer is Macy's American Rag. The tie is Isaac Mizrahi, New York. The shirt is Tassel Alba, Egyptian Mercenaries, cotton. And the jeans are Levi. I wear jeans with my blazers because I am business casual. I'm still from the hood, man. So being that I am still from the hood, I like to do corporate casual. And, this is kind of a look I think that, we can all adopt. So with that being said, I want to say one more thing. When people challenge you, it's not to challenge you, but it's to challenge you. Now, when you replay that back, you'll understand that a little further. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and say peace, Black power, one love. We are gone.
Our goal is to break the power of the mob in America and nothing short of it. We mean to end their profits, imprison their members, and cripple their organization. Imprison their members and cripple their organization. Cripple their organization. Imprison their members.
Peace to the chat. Like I said, we're gone. Make sure you support Black Lives Matter, one love. I am out of here.